Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of Man, We're Too Old for This, here on the Nerd Eternal Network. I'm your host, the experience that some call Jason, and with me as usual is...
The token, sickened but curious, Tarky.
CDL-113, the droid you're looking for.
And the Todd Father.
That's it? You don't get any little tagline?
What? For me? Nah, I'm good.
Alright, and today we are talking about... I don't want to call them lame characters.
Odd.
Goofy. Truthfully, some of them may be lame.
Eccentric.
Eccentric, yeah, that's a pretty good one.
Yeah, no, Lane pretty much fits it.
Well, I don't know if mine's lame, but we'll get to that. So, starting us off today, Tarky, what have you got for us?
As you know, I'm a big fan of fighting games.
It's coming up.
And, yeah. One that's had some news recently is Street Fighter V, who is introducing the character that I'll be talking about as a new DLC, Dan Hibiki, the master of the Saikyu Ryu fighting style.
That would be the most dangerous style?
The strongest style.
I'm sorry. I messed that all up. But he didn't exist in Street Fighter back when I was playing, so.
You played like Super 2 and that was it, right?
Yeah, well, I take that back. I did buy 4, but I barely played it.
Oh, okay.
And he might have been
I think I played 4 more than you did.
Probably.
On your copy. I also beat the game as Dan, because I just love Dan. He's so silly. But what basically happened is Dan is a joke character from the Street Fighter Alpha series, which the Street Fighter game timeline is weird, where it goes 1, Alpha, Alpha 2, Alpha 3, 2. But his entire design is based off another fighting game made by another company. Because Capcom went, hey, you made 2 characters that are way too close to Ryu. Why'd you do this? We're going to insult you now. And did some art of one of their characters, Sagat, a big Muay Thai fighter, holding a character that had the head and body very similar to a combination of 2 fighters from the SNK game, and then made him a secret character in Street Fighter Alpha. But Dan Hibiki is pathetic. He fights like Ryu and Ken, a Shoto, karate-esque style, but like his Hadoken barely escapes his hands before it disappears, and his spinning kick is just him doing a jump kick twice. The only thing that he was more powerful than anyone in Alpha was that you could taunt once per round. But Dan Hibiki could taunt infinitely. So as long as you were a good enough player, you could just kick the crap out of people while taunting all day. Which was kind of like the only thing he was worth it for in Alpha.
So basically, he was like the guy that couldn't really fight but could talk a lot of crap.
Correct. Like his damage and like ability to hurt people is still there. It's just he didn't really have much to combo with. He wasn't really a good fighting game character, but he was a good joke.
I remember playing, I can't remember, maybe it was in 4, like I said, I can't really remember. But I do remember playing him at some point, and it was like, there was some attack where you like run forward, but he'd only run a few steps and he'd stumble.
Yeah.
If they were within that short range, he'd pop them with whatever the move was. But it was kind of like the Hadoken. It didn't have the range it should have had.
Yeah. And Capcom has made Dan better than he was. I don't know. I don't want to say better, but like in character form, you only know him from Street Fighter 4. In Street Fighter 4, he was somewhat capable as a character. In Alpha 2 and Alpha 3, he was definitely a joke. Like, you could still win, but he was a joke. He's a joke so much so that in the story, his father is killed by Sagat. So his entire story is like getting revenge on Sagat.
Yeah, that's
Well,
what
he beats Sagat because Sagat lays down in pity. Like, you get told, yeah, Sagat threw the fight so that Dan would leave, so that he could get Dan to leave him alone. And then Dan's like, well, I beat Sagat. I'm the best. I'm gonna go make a dojo. So he goes and makes a dojo, and no one joins. Except my other favorite character from Street Fighter, Sakura, who then masters his style in 3 days and promptly forgets it because it's garbage. Which I think is the best insult, is to master an entire martial arts style in 3 days and then immediately forget it because it's no good.
she's the one that like fangirls over
Ryu, yes.
Yeah. Or Ryu, as we used to call him.
We didn't know Japanese. Look, it's in the past. It was a name in a foreign language. We didn't know how to pronounce it.
That's like we always go around here. We go manga, and you say no, manga.
Yes, this is also another one.
Because it's because I grew up during the transition.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's a lot of funny with Dan, of just like little inside jokes and all. There's one specific game called Pocket Fighters. I think it was Capcom Pocket Fighters. But he has an attack, and everything's chibified. It's very small and scrunchy, and because it was made for portable Game Boy Advance.
Yeah.
One of his attacks, a gray version of him with a longer nose comes out, and he swings it at the opponent, and that's his dad's ghost.
Nice.
He just uses his dad as a weapon.
Well, his dad was supposed to be competent, wasn't he?
Competent enough that Sagat cared to fight and kill him.
Well, something I was reading, wasn't it his dad that took Sagat's eye?
Yeah, yeah.
That
You're
implies
right.
some level of competency.
Yeah.
Way to go, Dad.
But like, another thing was, in Alpha, when you beat people, you get an end quote, as most fighting games do. And Dan's was like, my dad can beat you and he's dead.
I like that.
After Alpha, he kind of like shied away from the whole my dad is dead stuff, but I don't know, I just always had like an attachment to him just because he's such a joke for a fighting game that I've never like dove deep into, but I always just pick him because like, hey, I'm gonna be the pink guy that laughs at you the entire match. Sweet. And like he's won, or not won, but he's been like commented on as like he's always in the top 50 and top 25, top 20 of like both Street Fighter characters and joke characters in general. Because like people love him for whatever reason. Just because it's like no one wants to mess with the guy that plays Dan Hibiki.
Because you're kind of
Because
giving some
you
of his
know,
advantage, so.
well, like if you're fighting a guy and he picks Dan Hibiki, you're fighting someone who thinks they can win. You are fighting a confident person. No one who's scared and like, oh, I don't know if I can zone out an opponent. I don't know if I can do enough damage. I don't know if I can combo, is going to pick Dan Hibiki. The only person that picks Dan is the person that goes, yeah, I don't care about any of that. I'm just going to beat you.
Or the guy that just taps A and somehow wins.
Yeah. But even then, he'll tap A and taunt. And you won't be able to stop him.
Alright. Interesting character.
Definitely different.
Interesting due to his lack of being interesting.
Kind of. Well, I like the fact that he's this popular, and his whole origin is just them mocking another game from another company. I mean, does that other game line even still exist?
Art of Fighting? No, Art of Fighting was made by SNK.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm not mistaken, SNK dropped Art of Fighting to make King of Fighters.
Okay, King of Fighters, I think I'm
Now,
passingly familiar with.
King of Fighters is still ongoing like a mofo. Well, I take that back.
SNK
A new one
kind of the knockoff Capcom.
and KOF is, I don't know. KOF stands on its own 2 feet to me.
I don't know.
Like
back in the day, it always seemed like the knockoff Street Fighter. You know, as opposed to like Mortal Kombat that had its own vibe.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying about it. It's just Capcom was like the marquee title, so.
Yeah.
Oh, there is, now that you've mentioned, because we've got SNK, there is an SNK versus Capcom versus SNK game. 2 of them, I believe. In the first one, Dan Hibiki has a very special ability where he can do his jumping kick, and there's a special activation that was called Vism in Alpha 3, but I don't remember what it is in Capcom SNK.
Mm-hmm.
But he can infinite kick into space, because it allowed you to do like infinite combos until the meter ran out, and his kick goes really high. So you just do his kick, and then midair do his kick, and then midair do his kick, and you'd go so far above the screen that your ability would end, and you'd wait about 10 seconds, and then you'd hit the ground again. But you wouldn't be able to see your character for 10 seconds just from flying off the map.
Huh. So it wasn't particularly useful, I guess?
I mean, like, if you hit someone and just kept doing it, it was just another, like, insult to injury. Of, like, you've let me do this, sir.
And I guess if you were trying to run out the clock.
Yeah. It had moments. It was just a thing of, like, you know how in, like, you've played Marvel vs. Capcom.
Oh, yeah.
How, like, the big knockout of screen moves and the huge air and stuff like that. It's just, like, that was one of the early moments of you can do something completely outrageous in the air in a fighting game.
Okay.
But anyway, not for me to keep gushing about my goofy boy. We can move on to the next one if you would like.
Alrighty. The next one goes back a lot further. He made his first appearance back in 1940. Because I have a soft spot for the Golden Age. First appeared in Hit Comics #1. He is known as the Red Bee. He had very, very striped pants, and apparently didn't know what color his bee actually was. To be fair, you may have some varieties of Red Bee out there, I don't know. But he was a superhero from Oregon. And he didn't fly or anything, because, you know, that would make sense. He had him a little ray gun that I guess was his stinger, so I guess that does fit the motif. But what really makes him a winner, what really earns his place on this list, other than his costume, is that he used trained bees. Some of whom lived in his belt buckle. So let's see. His name was Rick. He was characters from Quality Comics who had a reputation for a lot of really oddball heroes and heroines. I think they had another one that fought with trained spiders. Can't remember if that was this. I think that was the one that it was a police detective that he would dress up as a woman and then use trained spiders to fight crime.
Yeah.
Which, you know, from the standpoint of throwing people off or figuring out who you are, I guess kind of works.
They had another character that he was an actor who dressed up as an old woman and fought crime. And it was the first, you know, I guess you would say cross-dressing character in comic book history.
You know, I bet you I'm getting those. I bet you I'm getting the spider one and that one mixed up. That I'm blurring those two together. But anyway, let's talk about the Red Bee some more. He didn't last that long. What was it? 40 through 42, I think was his initial run, which was pretty common in the Golden Age. You had a lot of characters that had short runs. But he mostly fought Nazis, and he had some kind of yellow peril rather, villains. But after his short run, in the 50s, I believe DC bought Quality Comics, which is where they got, like, Uncle Sam and the Freedom Fighters would be probably the best known of these obscure characters.
Yeah.
So since then, he has popped up occasionally in, like, All-Star Squadron when they did that. If they do Freedom Fighter books, sometimes he'd pop up. The 90s Starman book, which was one that I just absolutely loved. Every year, Jack would have you'd have one issue where Jack was talking to his dead brother. And you had one of those that it was a big dinner party with all these dead, like, Golden Age heroes. And the Red Bee was one of them there. I forget exactly. I think it was 2007 that they introduced a new version that was like his the original's grand niece or something. That she's got like a mechanized battle suit and robotic bees that fire electricity, and eventually wound up with like bee DNA or something.
I'm thinking about that dinner party right now. Of all the Golden Age heroes. How'd you die? Fight Nazis. How'd you die? Fight Nazis. Fight Nazis? Fight Nazis. Fight Nazis.
Nah,
How'd you die? Bee allergy.
He did have a fun conversation in that one with the original.
It's like the one person that didn't die from Nazis is the most interesting person in the room.
Well, that'd probably be his brother, because his brother got killed in like the first issue of the book by a sniper. In the full Starman getup. But I digress. So anyway, they brought in the grandniece, so you've got like a current version that, truthfully, looking at her, she's got a very current Blue Beetle kind of vibe to her, as far as just her appearance. Also not entirely certain if she's a hero or a villain, just based on some of the artwork. Because, I didn't research her. I wanted the OG Red Bee. With his kind of lacy, see-through sleeves, which I guess are supposed to be like bee wings. But anyway, he was a nice little goofy one that I've been aware of for years. That this seemed like a good opportunity to talk about him, because I doubt people talk about him very often.
Probably not.
God rest his soul.
I saw his character named Red Bee. What the hell were they smoking back then?
Yeah. Well, cocaine was still in Coca-Cola.
That's true.
So, that explains a lot.
And it was the 40s. You were just cranking out characters as fast as you could.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what's easier than going color, animal?
Yep. Probably just had a dartboard. Red Bee.
But not the right color.
Yeah,
Would
accuracy was not that important back then.
Let's call him the Green Bee. It's too close to the Green Hornet, damn it. Come the Red Bee.
And the Green Hornet was probably an older character.
That's what I'm saying. That's why it couldn't be Green Bee. It'd be Red Bee.
Yeah, you got me looking up the Green Hornet to see if he's actually older. Look, inquiring minds want to know.
Green Hornet? Cool. Red Bee? Lame as shit.
Okay, 1930s was when the radio show popped up. All right. I figured, but I can be 100%
Does the Green Hornet use hornets? Ha! Not so with Red Bee.
He just uses guns.
He just shoots people. Shit.
Well, he was the grandson of the Lone Ranger.
Yes.
The gun fits.
Yeah, that and he'd throw his chauffeur at people. Ah, get him, Kato. Though that was most of the TV show.
Yeah, it's a TV show.
All right, though I hesitate to do it. Danny, what do you have for us?
My obscure character is Codpiece. Yes, I said Codpiece. His one and only appearance was in Doom Patrol number 70 back in 1993. The issue opens at a high school where an unnamed character is asking a girl out on a date, only to be turned down because he's quote unquote too small. The next panel shows the girl talking to her friend and saying she was referring to his height, while the antagonist, that will assume she's referring to the size of his junk. Yeah. So the book shows flashes of the man's life going through college and adulthood with this inferiority. Yeah, thank you. Complex hanging over his head all the way after this girl rejected him. And it shows in one panel, after being denied enhancement surgery, the man decides to take matters into his own hands and turn to a life of crime. And so after some tinkering in a machine shop for months, the villain is born and ready to make his debut, and he triumphantly declares Codpiece is coming.
How has this guy not been on the show yet?
I don't know.
Perfect for the television show.
Yeah. Sporting.
Now I'm just worried about what he's going to steal.
Well, he's a bank robber.
Oh, that's...
Sporting a red and blue suit with a control panel on his chest, the armor's most glaring feature is a giant gun he has strapped to his junk. And it's not just any kind of gun and not there for decoration. Oh, no. He can fire lasers / repulsor rays from it. It has a power drill that he uses to rob the bank vaults. It can emit ultrasonic sounds, fire missiles, giant scissors, claw-like extensions, and then fire boxing gloves. And in the book, he ponders to himself whether he should build the Codmobile to get around from his capers. After a brief battle with the police, Codpiece, in his first appearance, is taken down by Kate Godwin, who, it's her first appearance. She's wearing a rubber frog mask, and afterwards, she's invited to join the Doom Patrol. So,
this Codpiece fella sounds also, well, obviously a, extended D joke. It kind of seems like a joke at Batman's expense too.
Probably a
he
little
just
bit.
has a utility codpiece
How is he only made
instead
one
of a
appearance?
belt.
But see, when I was thinking about what character to do, I thought, got the Doom Patrol show. Why hasn't this character shown up? Because,
Really? That was your first thought? Because I'm sitting here going, how the hell did the comics already let this shit go? When was this appearance?
1993.
Oh, that explains.
They let it go once as a treat.
Well, it was the 90s. They were on their way out anyway.
Yeah, they want to out. I was thinking to say, if this got any kind of age on it, get through.
But yeah, I had seen the character before. I may have even read the issue that he was in, but somebody had a picture of him posted on a joke on a meme. I'm like, why does this character look familiar? So I looked him up, like, oh, okay, yeah, I've read his backstory before.
I remember that giant groin gun.
So he's basically a sex machine.
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't recognize the name when Danny gave it to me before we started, before we started recording this morning. I've seen the picture, though. Both the one I've got up for our viewers to see and the one where he was, launching the boxing glove.
Yeah, it's one of those things you sit there and you go, wow.
What the hell is goddamn boxing glove?
But to me, that's got to be one of the lamest characters. Funny, don't get me wrong, but Codpiece is coming. What
I don't
kind
know,
of
like
battle cry is that?
The kind that would have me getting out of his damn way.
Yeah.
To be fair, the guy that straddles in with a crotch gun, I'm out of that building. Because
But,
I've only seen two dudes. Well, now I've only heard of two dudes with crotch guns that I can think of, and that is either vampires or that big dude right there.
I know.
I don't want to deal with either of them.
There's those two, and then there was one in a spoof comic that I don't remember what he called himself, but his gun was much larger than cod pieces, and fired some sort of foam. I guess I don't know.
That's real leading.
Yeah, well, you know, I want to say it was
But
a spoof
also-
comic that oh, was it Young Captain Adventure or was it Misadventure? Like I said, it was just a flat out spoof though, where Codpiece was, you know, in
A
the
villain of the
mainstream
week.
DC universe.
Yeah, but also just like his character could be used later because like he's clearly an inventor.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's clearly a gadgeteer, just very, very
Specific.
focused.
He has got a motif that he follows.
Yeah.
It's a small motif, but he follows it strictly.
What I thought was funny was after reading his attachments, I guess you would say, the power drill, he's going to drill you. The ultrasonic sound emitter, you're going to, everything to me was like when I was reading them, going, okay, somebody didn't get any when they came up with this character. Cause, yeah. And then the scissors, first thing I thought of was Lorena Bobbitt.
Let's see, 93.
It's good.
I can't remember off the top of my head. And I'm not gonna bother looking that up. So that's pretty. It's in the neighborhood anyway.
Yeah. I'm sitting there going, okay.
But yeah.
But that was
subtle. They were not. They were not very subtle.
No. There was no subtlety there at all.
I don't get what you're talking about.
Yeah, dude just had a big gun.
Yeah, he had a big
I don't
gun.
feel-
Yeah, coming your way. It's your mind in the gutter. I'm sure that character's totally innocent.
So, Todd, what do you have for us?
You don't get to ask. Jason's the one that's moderating.
Yeah, Danny, know your role. So, Todd, what have we got? Please tell me it's better than Codpiece.
Unlike some of this tasteless stuff, I did not go lowbrow. My choice, greatest villain ever.
Comes straight out of the gutter.
Does not come out of the gutter. Comes out of the toilet. I picked the Savage Dragon villain, Doug. A.K.A. the greatest character ever made. First appearance was in Savage Dragon number. Unfortunately, poor Doug is deceased because comics could not hold such coolness for so long. And unlike the rest of these lames, Doug actually made the TV. Sure, they had to call him because the fact that
They had to call him what? You cut out.
Huh? They had to call him Mud. Because the fact that he was firing high-powered shit at people on the children's cartoon was a little bit much for even the 90s.
But the kids love that dark stuff.
I could not stop laughing. Every time, the first time I saw this character, back when Wizard Magazine used to do a villain special, I think they only did it like one or two times. And he was like the honorable mention on like the last page of the magazine. Had some type character. And I saw him and could not stop laughing. The fact that Eric Larson came up with a character that fired high-powered shit at people. Yeah, that man needs to be drug tested. This is great. This is the greatest thing since ever. In researching Dung, he is a 6-foot-tall dude, and he's in kind of the typical 90s chunky armor with arms that end in cannons. And just like when we talked about this last week, and I was, yeah, if we do it lame characters, yes, Dung's my pick. And we were wondering, Does he carry like poop on his back? Does he got like a backpack of poop that he uses to fire this poop at people? No, he doesn't, because Dung actually has superpowers. Dung has a power. His power is that he can transport feces from all over the world in a suit of armor, and then the armor lets him discharge it as blast.
So he never runs out of ammo.
No, he never runs out.
So every time you're like, oh, I need to use the bathroom. Huh? Where'd they go? You can thank Dung.
One of the weird things about Dung is he doesn't act. I found that out researching him, and I was like, huh. If he doesn't have hands, how does he wipe his... Oh, nice.
See, his powers are synergy there.
But a character this cool could not, exist on his own, so they gave him two daughters, one named Blossom and the other one named Dumpling, because maybe he was being too subtle, firing like high-powered shit in people's faces. I mean, if you go on the Savage Dragon wiki, the picture you have of him is him going, "Here's some dung for your face, and somebody's getting blasted with it, and the thing from the person getting shot is glove, which means they got hit with high-powered shit, and it's in the mouth."
Yep.
Oh God.
He's dying laughing over here.
Cause it's horrible. That's one of those kind of things where you go, how the hell, whose idea was this? How do you sit down and go, I need a villain? What have you got anybody that fires feces people? And like I said, in researching him, I was like, oh, I got the stuff that he's in. He is infamous for like shooting people in the face. And you have like team members of like Savage Dragon's team of freaks, like standing there and like just and dripping and shit. And you kind of go, who in the hell lets you back in the station after you fight this bastard?
Well, I mean, he can, even if it drips, he can just teleport it back in.
No!
Or do you mean the opponent? Sorry, you meant the opponent.
Yeah, I'm talking about the opponent. You were dripping in shit.
I mean, just go take a shower. Hose off in the lawn.
Yeah, but you got to live with that humiliation.
Especially the one going glove.
Yeah.
Can I hear you, glove? Oh, Lord, it's in your mouth. Unfortunately, and unlike some of these others, Dung actually had a run. His first appearance was Savage Dragon 5, and he died, unfortunately, in Savage Dragon number 248. So,
yeah,
he stuck around. Hell, reading his bio, fought Martians with high-powered poop. You a hardcore motherfucker to fight aliens off.
Yep. Well, it probably stuck to the little glass shields on their face. Why am I seeing Mars attacks? And
Back.
Well, those are the Martians that were fighting. You had it was Mars attacks the Image Universe, which I think they kept in canon.
Oh, so they were literally fighting the one.
Yeah.
That's vile as hell. I may have to read that one.
Oh, but I think my favorite thing you mentioned before the show started was his teammates.
Well, that was only in the cartoon. The cartoon, he was part of Mud, was part of called the bodily function, not a bodily. They still did it anyway.
Yeah.
Because they knew who it really was.
Where you had Backfire, which was a dude that basically had a jet turbine for an ass. Yeah. They were classy. They were classy on Sunday morning.
But you're saying Dung was a solo act in the actual book?
Well, he was part of the Vicious Circle.
Oh, okay.
He was several teams. The Annihilators, the Vicious Circle, the Super Coalition of Chicago. Yeah, he got around. People said, hey, you the kind of, I'm creating a villain team. You the kind of guy who the shit. So,
well, it sounds like he was effective.
Well, yeah. How many people gonna volunteer to,
Yeah, it's really like, if you're going to make a villain team, just put dung on it just for the sake of you don't have to run into dung now.
That's true. But unfortunately, he was caught. You had negation wave power, and he bled out through his arm. So, apparently he had open wound up in there where he was firing or something.
Or maybe where his hands are missing. Who knows?
Yeah. But he bled out through his arms. So, he got flushed.
What would be messed up is if you had dung on a team and you had a flame guy on the team, he's firing the poop, and you got the flame guy lighting that stuff on fire.
Danny,
That was messed up.
Can you light shit on?
never write a letter to Eric Larson. Never.
Dear Mr. Larson, you really didn't use dung to his full capability.
Nope. Well, if he can teleport poop, can he only teleport it to himself, or can he teleport to other
It
locations?
just says his powers. He can transport feces all over the world into his high pressure suit of armor.
Oh, into his high pressure.
So
Well, now if he had openings in his arms, I wonder if it was coming out of the openings in his arms, and the suit was just to focus it into high pressure where it could be useful.
I'm almost thinking that it's kind of sounding that way.
There's so many questions about this character, so many unknowns.
Well, that's when you, dear Mr. Larson, I have a question about your character, Doug.
Clearly, we lost this one too early.
Yeah, he's gone too soon. Because, hell, I'm also wanting to know, is it just people poop? Because, it says he transports it from all over the world. I mean, is he firing both people poop and dog shit?
Or elephant poop.
Yeah, is he firing globs of elephant poop?
Yeah, that. Because, even he never runs out of ammo. I mean, think about it.
Well, I mean, if you can do it from all over the world, you're not gonna.
No,
No.
never ever.
And when you see the pictures of his blast, I mean, that's some high pressured fire hose level diarrhea. I mean, he is lighting up the place.
I have seen a picture of the Savage Dragon holding an unconscious dung. At least I assume he was unconscious. And blowing some monster's head off with it while screaming, "Eat shit and die."
Appropriate statements?
Yes, indeed.
But I think if I was on the Dragon's Earth, I'm pretty sure that's a motherfucker I'd put away. I mean, because let's say if
Any hero team that fights him, it's the new recruit that gets stuck fighting dung.
Because I'm serious. If he can fire it and it fires that hard, it could potentially kill you, especially if you're a normal cat.
Yeah, that's why if I was the guy that got stuck fighting him and I'm the new cop on the block, yeah, I'm shooting him right in the head.
I ain't fucking with him at all. That's one. What happened? Got away. I mean, how's he gonna take anything?
That's true.
Unless he can form minions.
Well, reading this thing, I think it's for kids. I ain't fucking with them neither. Because they're made out of shit.
Yep.
Like I said, that's one that. Oh, who in the hell is it? Oh, shit is done. Yeah, I'm out. Yeah, that's one, because, who wants to be the person, your family's got to know that shit. Wow. How'd Officer Holland die? High-powered shit.
Yeah.
That you would just tell a supervillain got him. We're not sure which one.
The hell they gonna know who it was?
Yeah, when they have the casket
Shit,
there.
the hell they got the,
But you don't tell the family that.
Did you get popped with shit?
No, you let them think you had some dignity. Besides,
Hell,
in Savage Dragon Chicago, who in the crap would join the police force?
Hell, like the Undertaker's gonna do that to clean your ass up.
Yeah.
Your loved one came in, hell, scattered all over the place and covered in shit.
Ooh. I got a former a fella I work with used to work for a funeral home. And I'm just thinking about the way he's complained about some of the bodies they had to pick up. And now I imagine him in this world having to deal with this.
I don't know, because like at least it's a reasonable explanation in that kind of world.
That's true. You probably have a lot of people die with a lot of weird stuff in a superhero world.
Yeah, it's just like, all right, look, I understand. He got blasted with a poop cannon. Like, it's gonna be a dirty body.
I'm sitting here as you're talking about a poop cannon. I know some of y'all have not played the Saints Row video game, the very first one. Your character takes odd jobs to earn money, and you got this politician that's doing all these crazy things, and you got and he's making the property values skyrocket, and you got this one of his competition wants to take him down a peg or two, and he hires your character to get in a septic tank truck and drive it around and fire sewage waste all over the place. And I'm thinking, okay, that scene makes a lot more sense now.
Clearly, we know what kind of comics that game creator was reading.
Yep.
But yep, that was my guy. I say he's lame, but yeah, he's lame as hell. It's just fucked up.
Well, so that's been our top picks. Has anybody got any honorable mentions they'd like to bring up? Or dishonorable?
Meat.
Who is Meat?
He's a joke character from a fighting game called Mortal Kombat. Because in a game all about, bleeding and blood and ripping bodies, yeah, Meat was a body that had no skin.
Okay.
So he's constantly bleeding the entire fight. And he looks, as an exposed dead body. With no skin, it's just muscle fibers and blood leaking through the entire fight.
Man.
Rather than just when you do a good hit.
Man, I was just going to go with somebody like, Armless Tiger Man or something. An old Marvel comic character from the 40s that I don't think he was German, but he went over and joined the Nazis. He had no arms, and he had like clawed toenails and sharp teeth. Vicious. He made one appearance fighting, I think, the Angel back in the 40s, and then didn't pop up again until I think a Black Panther Captain America miniseries set during the war. And they killed him off in that, so he's popped up at least one other time. I think you saw him in hell. Well, he joined the Nazis, so
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not the fact that he's in hell. It's the fact someone went and goes, oh hey, it's Armless Tiger Man in hell.
I think my honorable mention character has got to be Paste Pot Pete.
How dare you diss the Trapster?
I'm sorry, his first appearance, Paste Pot Pete.
Yeah, once he switched over to the Trapster, he wasn't as bad.
Yeah, but that does not strike fear in the heart of anybody. Yeah, he created a special type of super glue basically that could trap just about anybody, but it's Paste Pot Pete. Yeah, that don't.
Yeah, it's because he had a career beforehand. He was trying to sell his glue, and that's what he was known as, Paste Pot Pete.
Mm-hmm.
How dare you mock that man?
All right, who's your honorable mention?
Aquaman. Because he sucks.
So eloquently put.
Hell, that's literally, like we were talking about the boys earlier. You watch The Deep, the character The Deep, that's Aquaman. That is literally Aquaman. A fucking lame that talks. He's lame. Even DC knows he's lame. That's why they revamped him.
Make him more and more like Namor every time.
Yeah. Well, he's the king of Atlantis. Well, he's strong as Superman. Well, he sucks. The man sucks. He sucks.
All right, I'm cutting it off here because I know you can go on this rant for a long time, and you have done so on at least one other podcast of ours, maybe two. I don't know.
Maybe three.
No, this is only the second one because he was my DC villain. He was my DC villain.
Yes, I know he was. People can reference the previous episodes.
We were there. We lived through it.
And they should. Hey, you say unfortunately, at least it was a comic character.
Anyway, so we're going to wrap it up here. If you can think of any lames that should have been brought up here, drop it in a comment, send us an email, thenerdeternal@gmail.com.
Like, share, subscribe.
And, be back next week when we do this all again.
If I need to come up with anybody lame or not,
Are you defying them to do something?
Our president?
hey,
We try to stay out of politics, Danny.
Okay.
and yes.
Though he may be a Savage Dragon villain from one cover I saw. Anyway. I have been your host, the experienced some call Jason, and with me has been...
The token first to last, Tarky.
Studio 113.
And the Todd Father.
And we will see y'all next time.
Peace.